It's May 7th, 2010, Communication Workers' Day, and time for this week's What the Friday. For some of you, this may be your first What the Friday with me, so let me just explain what I do here. Every week on Friday, I take a look at the WTF news stories of the week and pick one or two to discuss with you and kind of give you my insight on them. There are two stories in particular I want to talk about this week. One kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people, and the other was huge news I'm sure everyone's heard about by now. Let's go ahead and get the big news story out of the way first. Yesterday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average suffered the worst intraday loss in the history of the stock market. In a matter of minutes, yesterday afternoon, the Dow Jones Industrial Average lost nearly 1,000 points, representing $1 trillion in equity. Now, what triggered this catastrophic fall? Was it the announcement of a new policy or a profit report from some large corporation? No. It was one guy making a typo. Someone at Citi pressed B instead of M. So instead of trading millions, he was trading billions. This one incorrect trade triggered automatic stop-loss trades at Citi and other banks that were put in place by computer algorithms in what has become known as high-speed trading. This just cries out for the government to step in and start regulating these computer algorithms, which are essentially black boxes. Even a lot of the people working at the banks don't know how these programs work, and yet they have the power to create one of the worst events in the history of the New York Stock Exchange. Now, the story that may have flown under your radar is that on Wednesday, a number of students were sent home from a California school for refusing to turn their t-shirts inside out. What makes this story so significant is that they were wearing American flags on their t-shirts. In a school that had a 30% Mexican-American population on Cinco de Mayo, Mexican Independence Day. The school's position is that they sent the students home fearing that the American flag shirts might spark off violence in the school. Administrators were put in a very difficult situation, and they chose to err on the side of caution and safety. Had a fight actually broken out at the school, I think administrators would likely have been blamed for not doing enough to keep the students safe. The question that the judge will ask, should this case go to court, is did these students know, or reasonably should have known, that expressing themselves in this manner was likely to incite violence? Because the students were sent home rather than suspended, Fourth Amendment issues of due process don't come into play, though they would have were the students to have been suspended. This incident, like most cases involving constitutional rights, is not black or white, but rather a very cloudy shade of gray. In my opinion, the students demonstrated remarkably poor judgment choosing to express themselves in this way on this particular occasion. One has to wonder, how might these students have reacted if they saw their Mexican-American classmates wearing shirts emblazoned with the Mexican flag on the 4th of July? That's all I have time for this week. Links to those articles and a bonus article down in the dangly-do. Until next time, drive slow and hurry back.